Hi, Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast. Been a few days since the last one, but we're on championship weekend. So let's have a look at the postseason action for which of these four teams are going to make it to Santa Clara for the Super Bowl. So the AFC Championship game. Let's start with that one. So as I say, one game lies between the top two seeds from the AFC postseason bracket and the Super Bowl appearance in Santa Clara. The Denver Broncos overcame the Buffalo Bills, but at the considerable and unfortunate cost of losing their starting quarterback Bo Nix on one of the very final plays of that game. The New England Patriots battled their way through an error-strewn game against the Houston Texans to get the opportunity to become this year's champions. But both defensive units were outstanding for their respective teams, and the Broncos in particular will need to lean on that more than ever without Bo Nix at quarterback. I was 4 for 4 in predicting the divisional week winners, which makes me 7 of 10 for the postseason. As I did successfully last week, I will go through the unit matchups to try and identify the keys to the game and who might come out on top. So in this game, let's start with the Broncos pass offense versus the Patriots pass defense. For the season, the Broncos have the 13th ranked pass offense to match up against the Pats' 12th ranked pass defense. But that is all based on Bo Nix being at quarterback. So you would expect them to be less or far less effective even with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback. Fate deals a funny hand sometimes, and for Stidham to be dropped into an AFC Championship game against a team that took him with the 133rd pick of the 2019 draft and then let him walk 3 seasons later is one of those strange quirks of fate. Stidham last started in the last two games of the Broncos' 2023 season. He was steady enough without doing anything of note in terms of being good or bad in those games, and that will surely be what the Broncos ask of him in this game. Be steady. Don't try to win the game. Just don't lose it for us and let the running game and D do the rest. If in one of those games, Lil Jordan Humphrey was the Broncos' leading receiver, and Stidham may have more familiarity with him from the practice squad than he does with the Broncos' primary receivers. Two of those receivers, Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant, both got hurt in the Bills game, but both seemed good to go for this game. Franklin's hamstring, though, will have to stand up to the rigours of this game, which, with hamstrings, you rush them back and bad things can happen. Um, Cortland Sutton in particular and Marvin Mims would be the primary wide receivers of the Broncos if Franklin goes down. And that too may give Humphrey a shot at more targets along with Bryant. Evan Graham has done okay, but no more than that for the Broncos from the tight end point of view, whilst RJ Harvey also adds another useful weapon as a receiving back. But all of those guys will have to overcome the Patriots' pass defense that has recorded 9 sacks, 4 interceptions, and a fumble recovery in the first two games of the postseason. And in the regular season, the Pats' pass defense allowed the sixth least amount of yardage to wide receivers, but did allow 17 touchdowns, the joint seventh most to wide receivers. Now, I expect Cortland Sutton could well be matched up one-on-one with Christian Gonzalez plenty in this game, and that will be a battle Sutton needs to get some joy in if the Broncos are to get success passing the ball. So this will be a certain test of the Broncos O-line. They simply have to protect Stidham to avoid him making costly errors when pressured and to keep them away from costly turnovers and getting into third and long situations. And they have been very good at doing that this season, allowing just 22 sacks whilst the Pats pass rush generated only 34 sacks in the regular season. The Broncos O-line should certainly do better than either of the suspect Chargers and Texans unit did in protecting their quarterback. The Broncos do have injury issues at centre, however, Luke Wattenberg and Alex Forsyth both being questionable for this game. A new quarterback and centre combo from both coming from further down the depth chart could be a big issue here, although the Pats being without their sack leader for the season, Harold Landry, may offset those issues somewhat. But the Broncos have averaged 1.5 receiving touchdowns a game this regular season, so getting any more than one with Stidham at quarterback may be the best. That may be more than they can hope for. So that one passing stroke receiving touchdown might be the best they can hope for. If he can give them that and does not throw picks, the Broncos will probably settle for that in this game. So on to the Broncos' run offense versus the Patriots' run defense. It would help Stidham and the pass game a lot if the Broncos can offer support by the ground attack. There were mutterings about J.K. Dobbins making it back for this game, but he's not going to. So that will leave it down to Harvey and Jaleel McLaughlin to carry the load on the ground, which is not going to be. It's not going to be what they want. They're ranked 14th for rush offense this season, but if they had Dobbins back, they would be better than that, and they would need to be better than the 14th ranked against the 5th ranked Pats run defense that has allowed just 198 rushing yards and no rushing touchdowns in its last 3 games. For the regular season, the Pats were the 4th toughest matchup for opposing running backs, so this certainly looks like a tough task for Harvey and McLaughlin for the Broncos. Including quarterbacks, as I say, for the regular season, the Pats were the 4th toughest matchup for opposing running backs. Including quarterbacks, they only allowed 1 rushing touchdown this season. So, it's just, I can't see the Broncos doing much on the ground. So on to the Patriots offensively, their pass offense versus the Broncos pass defense. Well, the Broncos ranked 6th in the league against the pass, and the Pats have the 4th ranked pass offense. So this is a real very good matchup, if not excellent. The Broncos were the 2nd toughest matchup for wide receivers this season, but did allow yardage, but not a lot of touchdowns to tight ends, and were the reverse against receiving backs, not letting them get much yardage, but allowing the 3rd most touchdowns to them as receivers in the league with 6. Drake May has good rather than great wide receivers available to him, but that may not be enough against this Denver secondary. If they can get into the red zone using tight ends, they may be able to use their running backs to get into the end zone via the pass game. Whether they can be red zone efficient offensively is going to be another big key to this game. And another key factor is going to be the Patriots O-line, and particularly their tackles, keeping the Broncos pass rush from getting to May on a regular basis. The Patriots have allowed May to be sacked 47 times this season, and the Broncos had 68 regular season sacks. So how they limit that pass rush and what May does to get the ball out of his hands quickly or get out of there on the scramble will be huge in this game. Patriots run defense versus the Broncos run defense. How the Patriots 5th ranked run offense fares against the Broncos 3rd ranked run defense looks to be another key battle in this game. The Broncos allowed the 2nd lowest yardage to running backs on the ground and just 8 touchdowns in the regular season. But Ramondre Stevenson and Tre'Von Henderson have developed into a powerful running duo as the season has progressed, totaling over 1,500 yards and 16 touchdowns between them. The Broncos are mid-ranked in the league against running quarterbacks. So as I said, Drake May on the scramble may be able to help in the ground game here. The Pats have only been kept under 100 yards rushing 5 times this season, 3 of them being in the first 6 weeks of this season. So they have gone over 100 yards in 12 of their last 14 games, going over 150 yards in nearly half of those games. The Broncos have only allowed over 100 yards rushing in 8 of their 19 games this season. So whether the Pats can get to the century on the ground here could be a big factor in deciding who wins this game. So let's have a look at special teams. Both teams have excellent kick returners in Marcus Jones for the Pats and Marvin Mims for the Broncos. So the potential is there for the big kickoff and punt returns to swing this game one way or another. The Broncos' Will Lutz has missed 4 field goals and was only 7 of 11 beyond 30 yards. Andres Barragales for the Pats has missed 5 field goals, 4 of his misses being in the 40 to 49 yard range, meaning field goals beyond the 40-yard mark are no gimme for either team. I can see no statistical edge between the 2 punters either, but they both may be busy in this game where both defenses may come out on top again against the other team's offense. So to sum up key to the game, for the Broncos to win, they need to see Courtland Sutton get some wins if matched up against Christian Gonzalez, get at least 1 passing stroke receiving touchdown. Jarrett Stidham needs to avoid giving up multiple turnovers. They need to get at least 75 yards on the ground from their running backs, and they need to force turnovers from Drake May via the pass rush, either picks or fumbles. Fumbles have been a real issue for May recently. For the Patriots to win, they need to get 100 yards rushing from Stevenson and Henderson, get receiving touchdowns from the tight ends and running backs. So the running backs again are key here. Drake May needs to avoid those fumbles and get 30 to 40 yards on the ground. And they need to get a rushing TD from any of Stevenson, Henderson, and May. On balance, I have to say, I fancy the Patriots to have more chance of achieving more of their needs. And as a result, to win another game where the defenses are likely to have more fun than the offenses. But if the Broncos pass rush does force turnovers from May, that could be their best route to Santa Clara. But on balance, like I say, I'm going to take the Patriots to win a low-scoring game by 20 points to 16. So that's my AFC Championship game preview. I'll come back very shortly with the preview of the NFC Championship game, which is the second game on Sunday. See you soon.